Thank you. Without wasting our time, let's listen to opening address by our director, by Professor Ekele.
Good morning, my Vice Chancellor, Professor Samuel Ekundayo, all our Deputy Vice Chancellors, those in absentia, the Registrar, the Secretary to the Council, the Bursar, the University Librarian, my Director, DAFCA, and the facilitator for today, distinguished Provost, I think I saw Professor Fatade, HODs, deans and other directors, colleagues, good morning and welcome. As the Deputy Director mentioned while we were waiting for the Vice Chancellor, this is our first outing as the Directorate under the new administration, and it is with great honor and thanksgiving that we stand to welcome you to the first concept note writing training workshop, which has been open to all. We gathered this morning not merely to attend a program, but to take a deliberate step towards the future that our university has set for itself. A future in which the scholars of Taishola University, Federal University of Education, do not wait for opportunity, but we want to learn to write their way into it. Permit me to place this gathering in its proper moment. Our institution stands at a defining season, elevated to federal status, and now led by a Vice Chancellor whose agenda we are acquainted with, has given us a clear, measurable, and time-bound roadmap. TASFUED is no longer asking whether it can compete nationally and globally. It is asking how quickly can we arrive there. The Vice Chancellor has set before us an ambitious goal that is bold and is attainable to reposition this university among the top 25 in Nigeria, the top 100 in Africa, and the top 3,000 in the world by 2031. A vision, thank you. A vision of that magnitude must rest on a particular pillar, and the Vice Chancellor has named it plainly. The letter R in his Darwin agenda stands for research, productivity, innovation, and global ranking. It calls for the upgrade of the very directorate into a full research management office, for annual grantmanship training, for internal seed grants, to spark new ideas, for at least for 4 TEDFund National Research Funds awards yearly from 2027 onwards. So today's workshop is not only a side activity to that vision. It is our taking the vision collectively and taking the very first practical step to achieving that goal. There's a story in this room that I find deeply moving, and I would like to share with you. We know that the research director was a unit at that PACWA, and it was made directorate in 2019 by Professor the now commissioner of education was a chancellor. And vice chancellor became the first person to lead directorate. And my humble self, I served under him. So, being the pioneer, he already has what he wants to achieve. Now, as the vice chancellor, he asks that this office bear the fruit of what he created there. So when we speak of aligning with the Darwin agenda, we are not aligning with a distant directive. We are honoring a scholar, a researcher who became a leader and trusting us to carry forward where he began. Thank you, my Vice Chancellor, sir. Why then a workshop on concept notes? Because the concept note is the gateway. It is the single page or the few pages that stand between a brilliant idea and the funding that brings it to life. Every major award, whether the TED National Research Fund, the IBR, or any other award that we may get, which normally that's the TED Fund, approves 7.5 billion naira in 2025. 7.5 billion naira was awarded by TED Fund nationally. That is just part of awards that is available to researchers in Nigeria. This and others, the other funding agencies, we want to begin to cut and to be able to express our idea clearly, convincingly, and competitively. Many excellent researchers lose not because their ideas are not good, but their write-ups are not convincing enough. So this workshop is the beginning step. They said the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. By the close of today, you will agree with me that collectively we will be able to achieve this our goal. So, our dear participants, you are here for this one reason, that collectively we will be able to achieve what our Vice Chancellor wants us to achieve. As TASFUED, as a scholar, as an individual. A concept note is not just a paperwork. It is the opening sentence of a much larger story. The story of a problem you intend to solve, a community you intend to serve, and a name, your name, and that of this university that we intend to place on the global map of knowledge. When you learn to write a concept note that makes a reviewer lean forward, you are not merely chasing a grant, you are giving yourself visibility and the organization you represent visibility. You are building the research record that will hand you promotion, attract collaboration, raise our ranking, and answer our nation's most pressing challenges in a but with a ready that you want to develop, that you want to refine, and you want to submit as soon as the opportunity or the call for proposal is open. The directorate, we have made up our mind to support. We will adore to everyone, but we will support with the structures that the Vice Chancellor has given us. We intend to work the idea into a fundable project. And we want to thank our Vice Chancellor for giving us this mandate. We know with your support, sir, which you have demonstrated this morning by being here with us, we will all have a success story to tell. To our resource persons, my dear director, thank you, sir, and my Vice Chancellor. As you mentioned, we will have a series, but for now, we'll have the three of us facilitate today. We sincerely thank you for your expertise, for generously agreeing to be with us. I want to say that the journey to a globally respected University of Education is long, but it is worked one funded idea at a time. So this morning, we take that first step towards actualizing our collective goal of positioning TASFUED globally. On behalf of the Directorate, my Deputy Director, Professor Mawal, who has been the success behind the DRER, he's been the one running up and down and doing so many things with the staff. I want to welcome you all to this inspiring and productive session. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, my director. We have all listened to of research, so we are ready to collaborate and cooperate with you all. We want to listen to opening from the Vice Chancellor. However, our Vice Chancellor is the first facilitator, so it's going to combine the two. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Morning, everyone. I want to welcome you especially to this program. And without wasting time, I want to declare the program open. Now, I am so happy to be here today. Happy because this workshop is taking place. And like I said to the director, who incidentally was my deputy director before, that this will be series 0.1. We will have several of it. You know why? Sometimes, like I said yesterday, change is so constant and is the most persistent. Unfortunately, it's the easiest thing to manage. All you need to do for change is just to prepare for it. And how do you prepare for change? Be open-minded. Your openness is not just going to be without caution. You have to be open-minded with caution. For example, like I said yesterday, it amazes me that we have so much. I read some time ago that around 1974 or so, a Nigerian student, a polytechnic student, actually did something on AI. And he was to present it to the then president, the one or so. And the people said he was insane. He was locked up in the psychiatric hospital. Now, 21st century, we are applauding something that somebody, an African, as far back as 1970-something, developed. But we didn't value it. And that's not just the first one. We have seen little kids in the villages developing things, inventing things, and you don't hear anything more about it. Unfortunately, when you now come to Ivory Tower, citadel of learning, universal city, where we should have things coming up, you see a lot of people writing papers because they are interested only in getting promoted. And so we have a lot of professors who really cannot profess. We can't really see what they are professing. Unfortunately as well, the higher you go, the more minute your areas like specialization. So you become, you know so much about so little. I don't know if you are, as a professor now, I am not a professor of everything. A professor of psychology, fine, but an aspect of, so I know so much about so little, which is not supposed to be. No, I really don't know. If the time passed, and now you have a lot of professors who, if you ask them, how much do you have in your account? It's very difficult for you to see. It's very difficult for you to see, okay, can I have below 5 million? You bring it down 3 million, 1 million, 500,000. It's not there. Whereas you see some others who have really developed themselves. I attended a workshop, first of Monday to Wednesday this week. Came back on Wednesday. I met a man there, Professor Patti. You can Google his name, Professor Patti. When he finished speaking, I had to go to him and say, "Okay, I need your number. We need to talk." And he obliged. He gave me. I said, "We will bring you to TASFUED." He said, "Just give me about 1 week. If you have your phone there and you have the internet, Google Professor Patti. He used to be the vice chancellor of yes." When he finished talking, I was amazed. He won grant to the point that he won grant for Nigeria as a nation. So when he was talking, he talked as if money, salary, what is it that was saying that to me? We have brought Professor Jegede here before, for those of us who knew then. Professor Jegede is in charge of Research Management Office in UI. He has about 18 staff under him. In fact, as he was speaking, he was mixing naira with dollar and because it's become so. Now we are here, and I feel that the challenges we had when we were coming up in the system, we should make it easier for others. To be very honest with you, I didn't have the opportunity of sitting like this without paying to learn how to write. We were just try and error, and God was helping us, try and error. God was helping us. And I felt that it is essential that we make it easy for people. Not only with the university benefit, you yourself will benefit. If you don't write, if you don't publish, if you don't go into research, win grants, your feasibility will be a problem. And sometimes we feel it is so difficult. My little experience over the years, I've seen that it is not difficult, though it is tasking. If you know what to do and you do it, the chances of winning is very high, which we shall soon see. So I want to welcome you here today, and I want you to know that it's not a once for all thing. This is just a starting point. That's why we're not combining concept note and proposal. There are two different things, because if you don't get how to write the concept note very well, writing the proposal may be a problem. The concept note is just 1,500 words, and it must convey what you want to do so much that the people that are assessing want to give you that money. So how do you put what the entirety you want to do in 1,500 words for them to say, yes, this is what we want to fund? I will share a few experiences with you, even my personal experience, as recent as the 5th of May, and the result. Then you will see. So let's look at this grant writing workshop series 0.1. Why are we here? Why are we here? Why do you think you are here? Anybody? Don't read what you have there. Take that one. Take it off. Take it off. So why are you here? What do you think you want to why do you think you are here? Anybody? Yes. To learn expertise in the area of concept note writing. Yes. What are you expecting to gain from it? Why are you here? They said we should come. Yes, sir.
I will try and fail on several occasions. And so that probably there are things that some skills are coming that I need to put.
I love that. That's just practical, real. Having tried and failed, it can be very frustrating. When you stand, like I'm standing before you, I told you about Professor Patti. I have tried and tried before I eventually made it. You know what it means for you to write and you think you have written something beautiful, and then it's rejected. Unfortunately, they won't tell you why it is rejected. Then you may be discouraged and feel you are not writing again. As you are discouraged, somebody will now come and say, I have won. You say, but it seems as if I'm better than this person that. Then you try again, then they will say, it can be very frustrating, but do like this, no? You will soon see that it is not difficult. Good enough, the call for 2026 is not out yet, and it will soon be out. You will win. I was just being economical when I said at least 4 per year. I want it to be up more than 4. There are institutions that win 30, 40. They don't have 2 heads. And it is the same assessor that we assess. So relax. It's good you have tried before. You did it, you only learned a better way not to do it. Any other person? Why do you think you are here? What do you think you will get from here? Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. If you are here to learn how to do
Thank you. I thought you were going to speak French. Thank you. You didn't speak French. I don't understand French. I see you. Saba. So let's go on now and see what. Yeah. One of the reasons why we feel we should meet here is for you to be able to master the art of this thing we are talking about, concept note. When we say concept, is it, you know, when you say concept, it talks about an idea. You have an idea, and you want to say that this idea that I have, somebody has money, or an organization has money, and I want them to give me that money to execute my own idea. If my idea is so personal to me that it's not reflecting that it will benefit others or benefit the organization, I may not win the money. No, please come. Let's be practical. I hope you are with me. The first thing I'm saying is that we want to master the art. We want to be trained in the rigorous art of writing competitive, highly structured concept notes that command reviewers' attention. This is Dr. Oyesoya. My organization has 10 million. We want to support any work on children that are abused, those who survived abuse. We have 50 million naira. And we have advertised in the papers, it's on our website and things like that. We now said, okay, the first thing we want to see, send in 1,000 words of your concept note on anything you want to do that is related to what we are looking for. And we said 50 million naira. Now, let's say all of us here now wrote, but it was his own that he chose. What do you think would be responsible for us choosing his own when all others also submitted? Don't forget, we have 50 million naira and we want to support anything that has to do with children that are abused, but they survive. Survivors of child abuse. Now, out of a lot of us, let's say like 300 of us that are here, his own was the only one we chose. What do you think would be responsible? Go and sit down, sir. What do you think would be responsible? What do you think? And we said the first thing we want to see 1,000 words of concept notes. What do you think? Just think. Yes.
Thank you, sir. I think you must have written something that will convince the supporters that are ready to drop the money as huge as that to support itself. At the same time, I think you must have added some value to what he has written before presenting it to the team. Thank you, sir.
Well, we'll soon see. The first thing is this. Okay. Yes. Can we have another mic?
Good morning. I think his concept notes must have identified a particular problem that he wants to solve. That is why he's able to win over the others.
Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I want to believe while reading the concept note, the hook, because there is a hook statement that catches the attention of the reviewer, sir.
Thank you. Look at what I said we want to do. The first thing we want to do is to be trained in what? doesn't need to be rigorous. It's not something you just, in particular, even about the eye, whether the eyes are dotted, the T's are crossed or not, you are very, very meticulous in terms of everything you put there. You know, there are times you read and you think, or you are writing, you say, I will do it again. This one doesn't matter, they should understand it by themselves. No, they should know that this is what is happening. I'm so tired, Gary. Does it happen or not? When it comes to concept notes, where you're supposed to write was, you should put was, not is, because all of those little things matter. Rigorous. It's not for a lazy person. Are you there? And it's out of competitive. You don't write based on, well, they should know now. You are competing against, just look at it as if you are competing against the whole world. And that should influence your commitment to it. It moves on. Highly structured concept note. If you don't know, you can just go to www.tedfund.gov.ng tedfund.gov.ng and look at other downloads. So under downloads, you will see several things on concept notes, the guide, because on that guide, they even give us the points allotted to each of those sections. The title must not be more than 20 words. Don't write it, it's there. You have the score, 5 marks. Executive summary or something, 10 marks. Introduction, the scores are there. Now, if they are giving you the score and yet people are not winning, what is wrong? It has to be structured as it is expected, and then it must command the reviewer's attention. So, how does a 1,000 words write-up convince the reviewer? What's the first thing they see when they pick your concept note? What's the first thing? The first line. Your topic. So how do you write your topic such that when all the members of the panel look at it, they say, no, this one we must read it. We must read it. When you have about 6,000 concept notes written, 6,000 or more, and you want yours to be number 1, then you need to start with even the first letter of your title. Let's move on. What else? We want you to understand the guidelines. To unpack the structural, look, I want to take note of these words that we are using. Rigorous, competitive, structured. Then in order number 2, understanding guidelines. To unpack the structural do's and don'ts of concept note writing. Ensuring flawless, underline that, flawless technical alignment with grant mandates. There are specifics that there are certain words that you must never use. There are other words that are better used to replace probably the one you have used. 4 or 5 lines can be summarized in one single word that will portray a better understanding of what we are doing. So we want you to learn that. Then number 3, to be able to decode decisions, to dissect why some concept notes are fast-tracked for approval, while other promising ideas face immediate rejection. Are you with me? Now, let's move to the next page. Let me share something with you here. 2 years ago, this is 2006, 2024, myself, my friend, we submitted, she was running one. We submitted concept notes. And I was so convinced that based on what I have done, my concept note will be accepted. Behold, it was not accepted. I said, Prof, I said, I felt it was my budget. Because I was so convinced that this thing must go. Others also, for some, they accepted. Then it was the period of the next one. This last one, I submitted. I adjusted the budget, and it was accepted. Another person also was accepted. The concept was accepted. So I said to her, I said it now. So now, we submitted the proposal, I was invited for interview because we have to defend the proposal. That was on the 6th of May. So I went with another team member. Now, I want to see how I can present it so it doesn't appear as if I'm imitating anyone. So while I was the first person to be called in, with myself and my partner. And on that panel, it was very clear that there was a lopsidedness from a particular section, and only one lady there that seemed to understand what we were doing. So the panelists, as we were presenting, I could see the hostility. So they asked a question. You are supposed to put some references. So in the reference, I've done something like that before in a particular, in Oyo State, among secondary school students, teachers. So they asked, if you have done it among secondary school teachers, why do you want to do it with lecturers? Don't you see that is a replication, this and that and that? I tried to explain, said, no, you just want to eat money. You just want to eat money again. I almost got boiling. So the madam that was part of the panel said, no, what he's trying to say is this, that. I explained. So after a while, they said I should excuse them. So we excused them, then we came back and said, okay, that one will get back to us. Only yesterday, I now found that I asked them, said that proposal was not accepted. I said, don't worry, I understand why it wasn't accepted. I will rewrite it and it will be accepted. Are you with me? Now, where am I going? We will soon get that. We will soon see that sometimes you have even written a very good concept note, a very good proposal, and at the point of approval, someone says, what is he even doing? What is this one that is even doing? Probably the person doesn't understand what that means, and then it is rejected. If that is rejected and you feel, my effort has been wasted, you just be wasting your time. Are you there? Am I communicating with you? So, we move on. What do we intend to do? What are we giving at that you understand? Why do we need this? Concept notes are critical filters. They are filters in the modern research ecosystem. So, mastering this step prevents wasted hours on full-length proposal. If all of us here are told to write proposals without first writing concept note, you will wear us down. If we have to go through proposals, probably 25 pages of everybody here seated. Meanwhile, when you submit proposal, you don't even consider that it took you time to write it. You expect that those who will read it should take only one day and finish everything. You are thinking about yourself alone, not thinking about the several proposals that have been written and submitted, and that only few people are reading. So you expect that it will be done faster? No. But when you are asked to write 1,000 words, how many minutes will it take to read 1,000 words? And in fact, in some instances, they don't read everything. They just read, is this title or topic within the theme that this person submitted it? If you say you are submitting in social sciences and you have written something in technology or science, nobody is going to waste time reading that one. Or you said, okay, you are under HSS, but now you are writing under cross-cutting area. They won't bother because this is, no matter how beautiful what you have written is, just put it aside. So these are some of the structures that one must follow. Are we still together up to that point? So we need it so that we'll be able to understand that concept note assists assessors to filter. And so you must be conscious of that one. You don't waste your time on the irrelevant at the initial stage. Now, it is also a hope that we'll be able to challenge you to action. Ẹja gbígbẹ ò ṣe ká tẹ bá ka ó máa kán ni. Àbí tó bá ti gbẹ, pàápàá jùlọ ẹja àrùn. Bọ́ ẹja tútù, ló ṣe tútù, ó ṣe ká ẹ kìí bọ́ lẹ́nu, ẹ ká á ká. Tí ò bá ti gbẹ tẹ bá tún nà, á tún nà. So I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Ẹja wa ò tí ì gbẹ báyìí, ó ṣì tútù. So easy fún wa láti kà so that we can win grants. When you win grants, the institution will benefit of a truth, but you will benefit more. How? Don't even look at the money, the feasibility. Only yesterday I got a mail from India. Somebody read one of my works, and he's a lecturer at that university. One of his own students, PhD students, has just completed the project and they are looking for external examiner. He now wrote to me, I've never met you, I don't know you. He says, will I be interested? Why won't I be interested? It's in my area. I'll be interested. Are you there? If he did not read that my work, or if I did not do that work, so how will I be so visible? And it's also possible for me that I've done that work. I am not online. Some of us don't even have Google Scholar accounts. Some of us don't even know anything about academia.edu.ng. We are just on Facebook. Yes, beautiful. But those ones may not promote you, particularly in your field of study. So we should make ourselves visible. This will help us a lot. So we want to challenge us to action. It's not just for us to take attend this workshop and just go and stop it. No, you keep trying. Whether there is call or there is no call, keep trying. And I can assure you, send these things to us. Yeah, I have a very busy schedule. If you send it to me, I have those I'm also grooming. I will send to them the review. I'll check it. So that we can have a change. A change. I have met with people, and I see that those who have gone ahead of us, they are doing fantastically well. They have generations of link. Generations. I've met a man who is 84-year-old, who has a mentee of 74-year-old. That mentee has a mentee of 60-something-year-old. That 60-something-year-old also has a mentee of, and they are meeting regularly. So I met them and said, help me no more. Help me more. But how many of us there can say we have mentees? And how many mentees are also ready to be mentored? And that's another thing. Let's move on. Let's move on. So that I don't take all of our time. Next, yeah, look at this. In 2024, the total concept notes that were submitted, we had 6,944. Total concept notes, 6,944. Now, after everything, the concept notes have been accepted, this and that and that, the entire paper, proposals that were accepted were only 158 projects. 158, that was only 2.27%. Does it mean that 6,944 were bad? Of course, not everything was bad. It does not mean that those proposals, those concept notes were bad. It could be that there's a problem with the title, there's a problem with something, or they didn't understand something, and then just 150. So what happens to the money that was budgeted for research? The money is there, not utilized. Are you with me? Let's move on from there. Now, research exploits 2020 to 2022. I brought this out to use ourselves as practical examples. So this is from 2020 to 2026. Those that we can identify with. Oladipo Eto, that's myself and my team. When I say my team, you know what I'm talking about. I have the deputy director there. I have my friend there, the director. I'm sorry, I'm still referring to her as deputy director. Sorry, that's the director, yes, and then the director. I have 1, 2, 3 people here that are part of the team. We wrote that concept down one, and we executed that project. That was in 2020. It's myself, singular. But I felt it is not what, one out of how many? So by 2022, yours was 2022. Was it 2022 or 21? 2022. Okay. So the following time, ourselves, Professor Ikile and Professor Akirele, yeah. So the two of them also won. We had many people who submitted, but at least 2 won. That encouraged us. After them, we had, chunks of, we had a number of proposals, concept note accepted, and eventually we wrote the proposal,
and then it didn't go through. He said, don't worry, we will keep on. But by the and his team, we have two again. He said, this thing is working. It's working. So we put it again. The deputy director of President Cholo here, I think he also submitted. They did go through. Anyway, we had more people that submitted. And some concept groups were accepted. We wrote the proposal, it didn't go through. Every time we submitted and we won at the level of concept groups, we sat down and looked at this. How did we do this thing that was different from what we did before? When this proposal was not accepted, how did we do it that we didn't, just like I told you now? The first one I submitted, yes, the concept went through, but the proposal was not accepted. So I reviewed it. We reviewed it together and said it must be the budget. We did the budget, then the proposal scaled through. We went for interview. Then we got there and discovered a new thing. That, oh, okay, your proposal can actually be good. And someone says because we are, I'm sure you know that we can scale up a work. You have done a particular work at a particular level, probably as your undergraduate. When you now want to do masters, you blow it up. Then you want to do PhD, you blow it up. But I found out that when it comes to grant writing and winning grants, sometimes the assessors can tell you that, no, we don't want it that way. And I'm not the one that has the money. They are the one that want to recommend me to get the money. So whatever I do, I give it to myself and that's to their too. So that I can get the money and then do the work as it's supposed to be done. Are you still with me up to that point? So it's not that the proposals that were submitted are not actually good, but I've been able to discover that practice actually brings perfection. They may not send their review to you, but you can sit down, we can sit down and review and then improve on the things that we are doing. That's at the NRF level. You know what NRF is? National Research Fund. That's one part. That one is 50 million naira. You can get to 50 million, you can get below. Are you with me? Hello? Good. Now, that's the other level, which is the IBR, institution-based research. Unfortunately, bro, do you remember how much we had in that fund at IBR, Odonibadi State that day? When we submitted the last one, 34 people, this 34, 32. How much dollars I need to check? We have 44 million. But 43 point something million. Now, that's for 2020. 2018 to 2023 or so. Meanwhile, we're in 2026. So we had money between 2023 and 2018 and 2023 that we have not exhausted for IPR, institution-based research. As at that time, it was just 2 million. You cannot access more than 2 million. And the work you have to do is, it is either to be within the school or within Ogun State. That one, we just go to the committee. We have a research proposal committee that will assess your work. And when it is done, they approve the money. It doesn't mean you get 2 million or it depends on what you want to do. Even at that, we did not have enough submission for us to exhaust the money between 2018 and 2023. 2024 money is there. 2025 money is there. 2026 money is there. Now, by 2024, the 2 million was increased to 4 million for those in the arts and social science and 5 million for those in the sciences who have not accessed to fund. Now, the last thing we did, the last IPR we did, people submitted, approved, they got the money, go and execute the work, they executed, go and publish the work, they have not published, we have not collected our balance. And that is stopped the submission of new proposals. Only recently we went and submitted the new proposals, and then those who are published, we took them down. Unfortunately, one of the requirements which we will soon see is that when you are published, when you have won the 2 million, they give you 60% to start the execution, and you must finish it. When you have done it, you now publish and submit your report with the publication. If you don't do that, you will not be paying the balance. Now, if there are 10 people who submitted initially and one before them, they won't pay the money for the other. So others have delayed others. Are you listening to me? So that's why I say, oh, this one does not go to TEDCOM for assessment, though. We are the ones, we have a committee that assesses the proposal. When it is approved, money is paid. We have people who have absconded with money. They took the money and left. So our school is about being blacklisted until we say, I'm a big FCC, pay you. Do you understand? So you can see how these things are. As I'm talking to you now, this is 2026, almost finishing. We have not assessed money for 2024, 2025, 2026. IBR, not NRA. I know the fault is not. It's not yours. The fault is not yours. But we turn a new leaf. That's why we are here. So even if you don't want to start with NRA, you can start with IBR. Interestingly, as I round up, I'm sure the director will be able to. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. We requested for IBR. Because we don't jump the gun. We want to prepare ourselves for the real thing. And somebody submitted notes. We now checked it, we reviewed it, and sent it back. And the person called and said, no, this is how he wants it to be. So he spoke with the director. And I know my director, he not followed it to what you develop. So the person now got back to me, asked me what time did he get back, around 12 in the midnight. So I responded, I said, no, that's not the way it should be. Do it this way, do it this way. By the following morning, he came to my office and was explaining to me why he cannot change it. I said to him, you want us to approve this for you and give you money that is not your own. And we are telling you that this is how, because we will send the report of the committee to TEDFund. They will check what we have done before they approve the money. We are telling you how it should be. You are saying no. Okay, submit it. Just go ahead and submit it the way. So when you submitted, he didn't go through. He now came back and said, no, don't come back to you. But because they told you what to do, you said you knew how to do it. Go and take the money from where you want to take it. It will interest you to know that this person I'm talking about is a professor. Somebody wants to give you money. And he says this is how you should do it, but you are saying this is how you want to do it. Then go and take the money from your own purse. Some of us are like that. I have seen people here on campus that got their concept note accepted from MROTC. And we said, once you finish writing the proposal, let us see it. Then they wrote the proposal and submitted it. And said to other people, one page idea one. So they were winning grants. It doesn't make me happy because you have worked labor to get your concept not accepted. Let us put our heads together. Let's get it. Even though it's not the money you want to go and spend for yourself. It's to promote you. Are you with me? So let us be careful so that you not become so myopic. I don't know if you have Googled the name of my director. Just Google it. Adekunke Ekine. And see what it brings out and the projects she has done before now. Home and abroad. Check the grants that she has won. She has won. Check it, check it, check it. And you know that it is the empty barrel that makes the most noise. Is somebody listening to me? And we didn't start out like we started from somewhere small. Other 1 million, other 2 million, other 2 million, this thing can come. Tama chef on me, go here. Go and do it, go and do it, bring it, you have done it, go and do it, go. 1 year, 12. And you say, oh, okay, okay, you start. On the rack one. I mean, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. When they come and get the testimony, yeah, hey, we won it, hey, how much? So and so billion, yeah, so and so dollars. People got there to pay there. They're looking Coca-Cola. You know, all that of marketing Coca-Cola. It's good they didn't give us. Because we would have lost us. We would have been so careful to learn the rudiments. We would have probably been destroyed. Physical gain, which is not gain at all. But now somebody can Google your name, and you know that what they do now. They are to be invited for a program. Once, I think I've said it before, sometimes ago, Professor Peter Okikukola needed somebody in a particular area, and he got across. So we sent some names. Within minutes, he just sent back, and they know these people are not visible. They are not, because he has checked them online. He didn't say anything about it. And then we sent the name of the person that we did not even consider good enough. In the moment, she don't yeah, this is the person, because the person is busy. One of the easiest ways, without struggling, per se, to get visible is for you to plan the rudiments, put it to practice. Be very, very tenacious at it. Be resilient. Don't get discouraged. And I must finally, as I hand over, can I have the next slide? See, winning proposal architecture, a high priority target. Address a clearly defined national priority that immediately aligns with the developmental goals of funding bodies. While we were starting, I mentioned that. There we go, I'll finish now. Don't be saying something that you already sometimes in my dream, I saw that I was doing that. And the donor said something else. He said, that only alone for me. You now want to use the idea that you had that is not aligning with the things that the donor wants you to do. You are wasting your time. Don't try it. So your priority, you have to prioritize and follow the target that which the donors are interested in. Unambiguous problem focus. Articulate the problem with localized data rather than big global generalization. Don't generalize. This is a global thing that is happening now is the war between Iran, Iraq, US and Iran and Israel. Yes, it's a problem, but how does that affect us? When you are situating that problem, you don't put it as global, localize it. How does that translate to your immediate environment or the local environment that we can see that this is a problem? Okay? The rigorous methodological flow. Any winning concept node must put this into consideration. Otherwise, it may become so blurred, and don't think that the assessors don't have their work to do. Don't think that it's your own alone that you are assessing. There are thousands and thousands of the concept notes that are there. And then move on, please. So, a challenge to action. Do not let your concept note fall into the 97% rejection file. Establish strict review timelines with your multidisciplinary co-investigators. Align with previous Southwest Nigerian experts, our expertise. Seek original, localized solutions that directly influence state or federal policy management. And finally, before we take the question, Prof, please tell us the title of the work you are doing present. Listen to this, and then I'll wrap up.
Thank you very much. The title is Development and Validation of Evidence-Based Counseling Intervention to Mediate Campus Violence and Courtesy.
The work is almost done. We have developed an assessment history, and it is now saying evidence-based, which is not something we are putting together based on review. Not that we have done literature review and then we gather from here, from there. Evidence-based. you will hear more on coining your topic. Listen to Professor Ekine's topic. She has completed the work and submitted.
Thank you, sir. Development and validation of gender-responsive pedagogy on prevention of gender-based violence in primary schools in Nigeria.
Development and validation. The one I did 2020 also, that we did together. Development and validation. I will send this slide to you, and you will hear more. When you look through the topics, you will see that, particularly in the arts and social sciences, even in the sciences, your topic should be able to say, without any ambiguity, this is what we should expect from this. Are you with me? Sometimes we feel that we should be able to say, at least whatever we are saying, let them just see it. And you want to give a very long title that you feel they will be able to understand well. In fact, they have restricted it must not be more than 20 letters. I mean, 20 words. And you can juggle it. Now, the final. There is no way you can successfully write your concept note alone as an individual. The last proposal I submitted, which I said eventually didn't go through, had 9 collaborators from 6 different universities. 9 collaborators from 6 different universities. UI, here, Unilag, Akuba, Kugo, Ife, like that. At different levels, not everybody was a professor. We have even graduate assistants. Because I've understood over the years that those are some of the criteria they use in assessment. Speaking from, and not everybody is from counseling. We have people from science, we have people from arts, we have people from languages, we even have accountants who will help us manage our budget. Let me not bother you so much. 1 or 2 questions, then I can hand over and go. Yes, 1. Yeah, number 1. Any other person? Oh, meaning that you got what I was saying, or I didn't communicate at all? Okay, Monsieur.
Next, Monsieur. Yes. Thank you very much, sir, for your brilliant presentation. My concern is about the IBR financial education. And in your last presentation, that was the last week or 2 weeks ago, I said that I want you to use your good offices to invest in the language laboratory. For the fact that is the heartbeat of our French department. Not only French department, all languages in our College of Humanities. Now we are planning to put up the concept note in order to win grant for our department as well as the language laboratory. Now we observe that the instability of electricity is really affecting most of our work at the language lab there. So we want to revive that language lab by incorporating solar energy there. And solar energy today, from our findings, the one that we capture the language laboratory is about 4.68 million naira. While that of our audiovisual room and our department is around 4.6 million naira. So altogether it's more than 9 million naira. So I don't know, with your 4 million naira, I don't know how we can go about that. Your assistance is highly needed, sir. Thank you.
The 4 million naira is not my own. If it were to be my own, you know I'm the BC now. Yes, I will just give to you. All right, sir. So that you just go and do your solar. However, you may not be able to use the 4 million to do solar. You know why? Please sit down. Now, let me quickly say this, that we need what we call cognitive restructuring. Cognitive restructuring. What do you mean by that? If a child, for example, we have a child there, we have 6 months, and the child is playing, and there is a candle light. What will that child do? He wants to touch the light. When the child wants to touch the light, the mother cries, hey, your mom. Then the child is scared. He's not scared because of the light, the flame. He's scared because of the child. So when the mother is not there, that child will still go and try to touch the light. That's flame. If he does not understand that it's the flame, he grows up with that mentality of fear. However, if you hold that child's hand, move it close to the flame, you will do like this. When you are not there, you won't go there.
Yes.
Are you there? So, if a child grows with that, we have the mentality of pessimism. We are too pessimistic. There is insecurity in Nigeria, and you see all kinds of things on the social media, fake news and all of that. What are we doing to solve that problem in my own local area, in your own local area? So we have to be proactive. So I wouldn't even see you coming to write proposal for the solar energy. I would rather say that we have 1, 2, 3 alumni who have finished from that department, who could, in fact, one of them alone can get it. I'll share something with you. I told you I was at a retreat for 3 days. And there I got to know that one of our students, is now at MIT, our student. So I made to get in touch with him. Then I said, no, you don't even have to bother, because sometimes he actually promised us that we do this, he will do this. So I said, so what have you done about it? Get his number for me. Are you with me? The alumni building that is there was built by the alumni. We have individuals who have made up their mind to support EdTech Center. So one of the easiest ways is to sensitize. Let the both students from that department, let them know. Now, not just letting them know. Many years back, someone taught me a lesson that I've never forgotten. That time I didn't have, things were very cool, don't let me say everything. So we went to visit the person. He just came back from Saudi Arabia. And as he came, she said, I knew it was money that was inside the envelope. But you know the normal Yoruba, efile. So as I said, efile, I was expecting her to say, I can now. Because everywhere we go, I was looking. So she didn't repeat it, she just took the money back. I looked at my wife in the eye and said, we looked at her and said, you know that kind, so I will stand out there as if normal. You won't see anything. I will sit back again. I just went into the toilet and said, God, please, I know I have sinned. Forgive my sin. So I came out and just told my let's go. So the woman went inside and brought the envelope again. I didn't allow her to finish it. So from that day to today, I have a list of what I want. And I want to travel to the US. What should I buy for you? I needed a digital camera. You want to do that? She does it for me. So what am I saying? Have a, comport yourself in terms of what you need and not just make it blanket. So that if the opportunity arises, say, okay, so this language lab, or you just have the opportunity of meeting the minister or something. What do you want? They say you are not sure. Even the language lab you are talking about, the language lab is not just the building. What are supposed to be there? If you have the solar panel and solar power, what will you use it to power? So those things, so the 4 million can never be enough. But there are interventions. Please go to TASFUED website. There are interventions. We have money for publications. You have a book you want to publish. You have a textbook. The things that, as we spoke with one of them today at TASFUED, say your people are not accessing, but we have money there. And that money will not be released to the school except you write and access it. There are conditions to be met, but we can meet those conditions. You have to have some minutes. 1 minute, Abby. Okay, good. So, try and do what is needed. and then we sort it. Thank you very much. I wish you. Oh, you have a question.
Sir, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. I sincerely want to commend your commendable efforts, sir. For the fact that my VC has written and has used himself as an example for us, I want to suggest that maybe the directorate can have an help desk so that anytime we are trying like that, so that anytime we can easily come there.
No, I don't say it.
Okay, sir.
You may not see us on the table in the office.
All right.
Send whatever you have to the
mail.
We will attend to it. I don't have to be. I told you that we have those we are also trying to raise up.
All right.
So once you send, you will send it to them.
I'll be glad to be one of them, sir. Thank you, sir.
I saw Professor Akiri raise hand. So feel free, but don't pressurize us. If you send something today, don't be calling me tomorrow morning to ask for it. That's not the only thing we are doing. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful presentation and for encouraging us all, both young and old. I just want to make this comment, a suggestion, that the university now should start looking at establishing a research committee who will give approval to conduct social sciences researches. Because even in the form that TASFUED is going to send after accepting your consent, there's a place, there's a column for the research ethics of that university to start. So we should just look at organizing or establishing that as that particular department.
I don't want to say that Professor Akiri has been approving work for those who don't have, who did not submit the ethical.
Yes, my students go out. My students go to ministry or other ministries, Subeb and all of that.
We have a committee that reviews proposals for ethics. Do we have anybody here who already has ethical approval? We have approved several. Yeah. We have approved several. There is a committee that checks it. It's been on right from Baba, Professor Lusoya. So we have a committee that looks at it. Yeah, thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful day. So when the body is out, you have to meet more. Yes.
Thank you very much, my bro, and my VC. Please, today is Friday, so we have to make everything snappy. So we have achieved 3 things together. The next presenter, Professor Oyele, Prof. Put this slide.
Sir. Yes.
Provost and Dean, please join the Vice Chancellor. Directors, Provost and Dean, please kindly join the Vice Chancellor.
Yes. Directors, Provost and Dean. One more, please.
HODs, please. HODs, join the Vice Chancellor.
Okay, sir. Mark. One more, please.
Thank you very much. I want to continue from where the Vice Chancellor has stopped, and I'll be called upon to speak on the do's and the don'ts of writing fundable concept notes. In other words, we are looking at the nitty-gritty, the conditions that are always attached to a good concept note. So we tagged it from idea to funded projects. You know that what we call research actually starts with an idea. But this time around, we want an idea that can be funded. That is, an idea that will please the funders to release their money for me to carry out the project. But usually, this is attached with what we call the do's and the don'ts. So this is what we are going to look at within the very short time that I have. Now the next slide. I begin with what we call concept notes. And from the last presentation, I want to assume that we already know what a concept note is. Let me state this from the beginning. This presentation is designed in such a way that it addresses concept notes globally before coming down to the one we know in Nigeria, which is TASFUED. So I'm starting with the global conception of the idea. There will be little variations from one funder to the other. Like TASFUED, for instance, expects just one page. But there are some funders that expect more than that. And that is why we say that a concept note is a 2 to 5 page sales pitch. Look at the word we use, sales pitch. That you want to sell an idea, something that will make them to buy into your idea, but it is not a full proposal. So some will say not more than 5 pages, some will say 2 pages, some will say 3 pages, but TASFUED will always say just 1 page. In fact, it is not even a page, they tell you 1,000 words. So whatever it is, you look at the funder for whom you are writing your concept note and what is their requirement. And what is the goal? Why am I writing a concept note? The goal is that I want to get the donor to invite my full proposal. I want them to say that, this idea looks beautiful, send us your proposal. So because the concept note is to sell your idea to them. And once they see that this thing appears plausible, this one can fly, then they will now request for proposal. For TASFUED, for instance, the first stage is that you submit concept notes. They told us at one workshop that in the past, they used to say that Nigerians do not know how to write proposals. But today, they have too many proposals. In fact, the last one I attended, they told us they had several proposals, more than 6,000 of which are very good, but they selected only 300 because that is what they can afford for the year. So in other words, what the VC was saying the other time, that you want it, that even if they are accepting only 5, my own should be part of it. And that means we have to do something extra, which others did not do. Your own must stand out. That is what they are saying. And for whom am I writing my concept notes? Of course, for their reviewers. I'm writing for their reviewers, and I must be conscious of the fact that these reviewers, they have a lot of concept notes to read, so it's not my own alone. In fact, that's why we say minimum of 10. They can give 10 to one person to read within 15 minutes and say, Prof, do you have anyone that can fly there? So that means he has very short time to spend on it, but he has many proposals or many concept notes to look at, and I want my own to be selected. So we should be conscious of that. And that is why from the beginning we said, what is the key mindset here? And what I must have in my mind when I'm preparing my concept note. What I should have in my mind is that I'm writing to solve a problem that the reviewers care about, not necessarily my own interesting idea. I have my own idea, but I want to present it in a way that it becomes their own, that goes in line with what they want. Because if my idea is beautiful, but it's not of interest to them, then it will not fly. So, in other words, I have to key into what they want. And as we go on, we get the idea I'm trying to say. Well, I now said there are 3 golden rules that we must know from the beginning. We are writing a concept note. These golden rules, you see that I categorize them. What I have to do, what I must not do. The first thing is that I have to read the donors guidelines at least 3 times before I start writing at all. I pick their guidelines. TASFUED has its own already there on the website. They expect you to download it or sit down to it, read it several times before you begin to write. Because any little mistake, your own concept note is already out of it. Like we were told the other time, if the maximum for TASFUED is 20 words, for instance, if your own is 21 words, I'm telling you, they will not look at another thing. Even if it is A. That is why we say that when it comes to writing the topic, grammar matters, but grammar is not the major concern. Like sometimes when we are doing seminars, some people will say, that D must be there, that A must not be there. No, as long as grammatically your idea can be understood and you have not violated any major grammar rule, you must know how to make it concise and yet not losing the idea you want to sell. So that's the first rule, that I must read their guidelines at least 3 times. Then the second rule is that I must match my own idea to their own priority team. They are the one that is asking, this is what we want. So I must tailor my own to suit them. You know why I'm emphasizing this? There was a time we had this kind of seminar, I think at the research directorate that year. And somebody was saying, you know, when we say, okay, there are 3 categories that TASFUED always look at, they categorize all disciplines into 3. That is, your research must fall into 1. Humanities and social sciences. Then they say that sciences. Then they said, what is the third one? Cross-edge researches. Now that person was now saying, no. Hey, is it physics or chemistry? I said, you are not ready for TASFUED. You are not the one to release the money. They are the one. And they say, this is what we want. It is now left for you to align that your study to one of those areas that they want, if you actually want their money. Then the third do here is that we should use their exact words. If they say the study they want has to do with resilience, I don't coin another word to stand for resilience. I must reflect that in my own concept note. If they say it's child abuse, I must ensure that my concept note focuses on that child abuse and so on. So their own time matters, and that's why I said don't do this. So for the first one, I said don't assume that I don't need to read their guidelines. After all, I know what funders need. All of them, they always write the same thing. No, each funder has his own specifications. So take time to read it at least 3 times. I'll be sure that yes, I know what they're asking for before I go to it. For the second one, I said fall in love with your first idea. That is, you have your own idea, but you try to make sure that you fall in love with their own too, so that you now match your own to suit their own request. And the third one, we said you use their exact words. I said, don't invent your own new jargon and feel that no, that word they are using is not good enough. Let me create my own. I understand English more than them. No, they will just throw it aside because you have to align with them. And so there is a summary under that one. We said, do this first. Highlight every requirement in the form. When you are reading their guidelines, highlight as you are coming across the requirements, highlight it, so that you don't miss anyone. Because if the requirements are 5, and you have aligned with 4, then you leave out just one, they will not go on with the concept note. They will just throw it aside. So that is why we must focus on that. Now the next one. Now, the major assignment. They asked me to talk about the do's and the don'ts. I have only 5 do's and, of course, 5 don'ts. So let's look at the first one. We say start with a clear problem statement. What they want to look at is, what is this work all about? What is the problem you want to investigate? And to write a good problem statement, we have to look at it. You look at what exactly am I investigating? Where am I going to carry out the study? And who will be the beneficiaries? That is my target population. Then why now? How do I feel that this thing must be done now? That they cannot delay it. That Nigeria must not delay it. Like delaying it is like sitting on a gun powder. You want to convince them that this thing is urgent. This thing is necessary now. It is time to do it. I now give an assignment, an example. After which I will ask for your own, because it's a workshop. It's just because we don't have enough time. But look at the one I'm giving here. Somebody starts his own concept note with this. He said, in rural areas of Nigeria, 40% of under 5, that is children under 5, malaria cases go untreated within 48 hours due to lack of rapid tests in community health posts. This gap increased 15% after last year's supply chain disruption. You see that this person has established a clear is focusing on rural areas. That is the geography aspect of it. He started by calling their attention to something that he feels they will be interested in. The rural areas, and they are neglected. Actually, look at the children that were kidnapped in Oyo State. I was just reading about that. That school is an isolated place. The village itself is an isolated area. So, if you are calling your attention to something so unique like that, it's likely they want to see what this person trying to say. The person now go on to say that 40% of under 5 malaria cases are not treated within 48 hours. 40%. That means if 10 children are sick, 4 of them will not be treated within 48 hours. That's too high. So they want to listen to what you are saying, and so on. Now let's go to the next slide to understand this one better. This is the do. When we get to the don't, we'll see why it has to be like this. Now, look at this one. The same, this person who wants to solve the problem of concept note. I will now say, don't do this one if you want your concept notes to be accepted. Don't bury the problem in the background. You know, the problem in the other one is seen even from the first statement. You see what is the problem this person wants to solve. But somebody who buries it, I think I have the statement in the next slide. Don't take it there yet. Where you see that person buries his own. He's also saying the same thing, but it is too bogus. Now this one says, okay, it's even here. I give an example of it. The same problem the other person was trying to address. You know, this one starts by saying malaria has been a global health challenge for centuries. You know, it makes sense. There is a general knowledge. Everybody knows that now. So your reviewer will look at what is he writing. I know this one already now. I know that malaria is a general problem. So what is he telling us? That malaria is a general problem. Then he continues by saying the WHO reports that, so he's giving them statistics. And now saying your reviewers will feel why it fails, why that kind of statement will fail is because your reviewer will feel that I know what this. Then two, waste space that could show your insight. You have already wasted spaces. By the time you write the first statement, the second statement, you know it's likely this person is also going to write that statement that we read in the previous one. But because they will not get there on time and they don't have enough time, they will not get there to see what actually you want to investigate. They will think that you are thinking that your focus is too wide. You can't solve the problem within the space of time they have given you. TASFUED, for instance, we expect you to finish NRL within 2 years. So can I solve problem of malaria that has become a global challenge within 2 years? I can't. So but if I say in my rural areas, and they know this one is possible, it also gives them an idea of, well, the budget will not be too high because I'm already focusing on a particular space. I don't know if you are trying to get the idea I'm trying to put it forward. Now let's look at the second don't and do. Now the second do, we say state a single measurable objective. That means after giving the introduction to express your problem, the next one is you want to put your objective quickly. You want to ship in the objective of the study. We now say if you want to do that, because it's a concept note. Remember that we have limited space, limited number of words, or limited pages. So you cannot write too much. So we therefore say the first thing you have to do here is to make sure that you are given just one objective, the main objective of that study. The main objective, the major one. What you think is the major thing the study is going to achieve. And we said avoid vague goals, like, you know, that is very common in our studies here. People will write, my objective is to improve health. How long will that take you? They have been improving health ever since the world was created. So they will continue to improve it till eternity. So it's an objective that cannot be measured. I don't know if you are with me. So you will see that when they read that one, this one, it's just like somebody saying to improve academic performance of students in mathematics. They look at you. They have been trying to improve it ever since education itself started. And they will continue to try. So you are not the one to do, there's nothing new you are doing. People are doing that every day. So it's not specific. So we said, but if you use this type of objective, in line with the statement we read the other time, the person has written that in rural areas, he now followed with this one. The idea is to reduce untreated malaria cases in 3 districts. You know, he said in rural areas, he's now limiting it to 3 districts, in 3 districts, from 40% to 20%. He did not even say he's going to eradicate it. So but he said, I'm trying to see whether we can reduce it from 20% to from 40% to 20%. That means from 4 that were not treated, maybe we can reduce it, we'll be able to treat 2 in addition to the ones that are treated. So it will remain only 2. They will say, yeah, this one is possible. So why would that kind of objective work? Your reviewers will feel that it will help the donors. Donors can visualize the success of your study. They know that within 2 years you can do this. Then it will also help them to visualize your budget. We can give you sufficient money to be able to do it within 2 years because the objective is achievable, it's measurable, and it's straightforward, and it's not too bogus. So let's go to the don't. Okay. Now the don't still on objective. You know, we start with statement problem and objective. For that one. So in the objective, you don't write something like to train staff, to distribute tests, to raise awareness, to strengthen supply chain, to engage leaders. They will just think, how long will he be able to do this? How is he going to do it? And remember that we are not submitting the proposal yet. It's just the concept note behind. So it should not be like this. And whatever the problem with this kind of objective, the problem is that it looks unfocused. And therefore, it's high risk of failure. They will feel that if this one is unable to do it, there's nothing we can do for him. So this study cannot fly. Then suggest you don't know your core intervention, that you yourself don't even know what you want to do, that you are just postulating ideas. So we now say the solution to that is that we fix maximum of 3 objectives. 1 major objective and probably 2 others. That is presented in a way that they will see clearly you can do this if you actually you are interested in doing it. So that is the second don't. Now the third do. The third do, you know, we move from problem statement to objective, now methodology. They want your concept notes to also reflect the method you want to use. Now, we now say for methodology, you know, this is a technical area of any study. So we say, for a concept note, prove that you can do it without details. You want to prove to them, you want to convince them that I can do it, then you are not going to give the details at this level. So you have to be able to present it in such a way that what you want to do can be seen, but the details are not there yet because it's not a full proposal. So I'm going to, I said now, what you have to focus on here is, you focus on the key activities you want to do. For instance, I'll say, I want to train 100 child health care centers, just 100, so they can see quickly. I'm not going to give, don't the detail, where we say don't detail it. So I'm not going to give the statistical sampling plan because it will be more than 1,000 words they are asking for. But the moment they see this one, that this study, to carry out this study, it will involve training this number of health workers. They know you are focused, you want to do what you are actually proposing. Then, who are the people I will need to accomplish it? I also want to reflect that in my methodology. So I say partner organizations. That this study will involve 1 or 2 partner organizations. You name them, so that they know that you already have an idea of what you want to do. All that is needed is just the fund to allow you to go on. It's not as if it is after you get the fund, you begin to think about what to do. You already know what you want to do. Then existing infrastructure. You also reflect that there are already infrastructures that can facilitate your study. You are not the one to start everything from the scratch to the completion, that you need money for everything, like we need money for language lab. No, you must tell us what you already have in your language lab. The little that remains, that one, it will be easy to listen to that one. But to say there are a lot to be done there, well, they will leave it there. When we get enough money, we'll do that one. So I give an example of that statement too. You know what I'm trying to do here is to reflect and to convince them that I know what to do. I have people who can assist me to do it, or the facilities to be used to do it. And so I write a statement like, we will leverage on our existing MOU with the Ministry of Health. That means it is not after the proposal I will be seeking for MOU with Ministry of Health. I'm telling them we already have that one. So for regulatory approval, what does that one show us? It shows feasibility. It shows that if we fund this proposal, they will be able to do the work. That is what we are trying to show them. Now the don't for that slide. We say don't write statements like this. That is, we will construct 5 new labs. Not language lab this time around. 5 new labs. We will hire 20 new PhDs and develop a mobile app from scratch. They will look at, the budget for this one will be too much. So they will just drop it. Because what you are asking for is already too much. which may not be achievable. So we say, why would that one fail? Because you have created some fears in the donors. Delays. Your write-up is suggesting that your study may be delayed if those things were not gotten. Then, cost overruns, that it's likely you will ask for more money, even when they approve your budget, because you will come back and tell them that the money was not enough for that, or technical failure. So, how do we correct this kind of thing? We say, we will use existing government lab. You know, I'm not saying that in different conditions, I start asking for 5 new labs. I said that we will be using existing government labs and adapt an open source app. I'm not creating a new app like the first, like the error we have seen in that one. But I'm not saying that we will use existing government labs and adapt an open source app already deployed in neighboring districts. So that shows that it's like I'm already on the study, or it's like all I needed is just a little support for me to be able to achieve the goal. So slide number 4, the 2.4. Align with donor boost words. They use some words. If you study the call for paper, the call for concept note, they will have used some terms that will show you what actually is their interest. What do they actually want? So we should focus on such words. For instance, we said find the course 5 most repeated words or terms. That is, when you are reading the call, you will see they repeat some words. You see the focus, the emphasis on some words. For instance, sustainability. And if it's an international donor, they usually focus on gender. Some will even go to the extent of saying sexual orientation, something like that. You look at the flow of their words. Then, local ownership. So that by the time I'm writing my own, I'm not copying them, but I will have reflected that idea. And that's why I'm giving a statement as an example here. We say, weave them naturally into your problem, into your objective, and into your methodology. That is, those words they emphasize, we want it to reflect in the statement problem, in the objective, and in the methodology. An example is this. We said, by training female community health workers, what am I trying to reflect there? Gender. Because I've seen that gender is their interest. So the model will continue after grant end, because districts have budgeted for test restocking. What I'm reflecting there is sustainability. When I complete my studies, is that the end of it? No, I'm trying to show them that the impact will continue, because those people we train will continue to function within the rural community where the study was carried out. So the don't for this one, the don't is that you don't, because we focus on their major words, does not mean that you copy them verbatim. So don't copy, don't avoid copy and paste of their words, because they will just say, this one is not writing anything new. So, for instance, we say, don't write our gender equitable. You know, this person also wants to reflect gender because he has seen gender in the call for paper. But because you are saying it directly like this, they will know that you just want to arrest them. You do not actually have an idea of the study. Or sustainable, innovative, locally owned, things they have said, no. So we said to fix that one boost word per sentence backed by a concrete action, like the example we gave in the previous slide. So the next one, which is 5. Now budget. That's the last section of a concept note. We have talked about the problem statement, the objective, the methodology. Now they want to see the budget. And you are not going to give the details, but you must reflect it so that they know, okay, if we go into this, we can achieve it. So even if they don't require it, some call for paper will not tell you that you should state the budget. But because you need a fund, you must reflect the budget. That of TASFUED, they actually ask for it. They will ask you to state budget, just the amount. So the budget usually covers this area. Generally, you make budget for personnel, but it should not be more than 40% of the amount you are asking for. Personnel, that means the investigators themselves, the research assistant you will use, all the people that will be involved in the study throughout. The cost must not be more than 40%. Training and supplies, that one should not be more than 35%. Monitoring and evaluation, 15%. Overhead, 10%. Overhead, that is if you are going to pay workers at all in the course of the study, it should not be more than 10%. So, but when we get to that of TASFUED, we'll see what exactly is that the requirement for TASFUED. I said I'm presenting this one on concept notes generally, but there are 2 slides towards the end that focus on TASFUED. So the note for this one, when we are talking about budget, is that you should not write, we will collect data. The university data manager, look at this person. Here now you want to reflect how you want to spend the money you need the money to collect data. You now say we will collect data to do this, they look at it as being too general. But if I am specific, like the university data manager or social person in the research team, maybe they will have asked you what's the function of each person you listed as your co-researchers. So this person in the research team, who is an experienced person in data collection, will do this. They know that you are sure of what you want to do. So why is this one necessary? Because it demonstrates you've thought through execution. You already thought it out that this is how I'm going to execute the study if it is approved. Now, the checklist. Before submitting, you have to check. After you have prepared your concept note, you check whether you have not violated the page limit. Like I said, that of TASFUED is just 1 page. But there are some international sponsors like Spencer and the rest of them that will ask for 2 to 5 pages. So you check the page, you check the donor's name, that it is spelled correctly. You know, TASFUED has a way of writing his own name. Many of us will say write TASFUED. What we write is different from what TASFUED writes. They can, on the basis of that, say this one does not even know us and throw it aside. So you should. Then problem statement, first paragraph. Match their priority keywords, no undefined acronyms, one clear measurable main objective, feasibility implied. As a non-expert colleague to read it, after my concept note is ready, I will give it to someone who's not an expert in that field. Maybe your study is designed in science. Give it to somebody in humanities to read and say, what do you understand from this? If that person cannot understand what you have written, that idea cannot fly. But those who are going to assess your concept note may not necessarily be somebody from a discipline. It may be related areas, but it may not be your discipline. So it should be something that anybody that's at least a researcher, if a researcher picks this, he can understand what I'm trying to do. So that is about that. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this is the summary I think. To save time, let's move away from this. The next one. The next steps. After this training, I said, what is the next one? The next thing for us is to practice by rewriting an old rejected concept note using today's do's and don'ts. We have listened to do's and don'ts. Some of us have submitted concept notes before. Now, on the basis of these do's and don'ts, try and rewrite that rejected concept note and see whether it will fly or not. Just like the VC told us that a proposal is not accepted, does not mean that proposal is not good on. You know, I said they told us that they found 6,000 good proposals, but they could only find 300. That means if you sit down to your own, you can submit again, or you submit another funder, and it will say true. In fact, I was at a workshop where somebody told us that his proposal was rejected by TED-Fund. He submitted to an international organization that even have more money than TED-Fund, and it was accepted. So use the do's and don'ts to gauge your own if it is rejected. And if you have never written anyone, use those do's and don'ts to write one and see whether come up with something. Like we were told the other time, nobody is perfect about it. The fact that I won last year does not mean I can win this year. You may submit another one this year and they throw it away. So what it means is that a researcher does not fail, but we may gallop. So if it is rejected, what it's saying is that you will go back, study it again, represent the thing. Like the VC told us, when we saw the rejection for that one, the one he presented in 2024, okay, we were together in 2024, so in 2025, we now felt, why was that one rejected? Because it came through the concept note, that of TED-Fund. It was when it came through the TED-Fund and the concept note, then they now ask for proposal. So the fact that it came through the concept note is not, you are not sure that it will scale through the proposal. You know, the concept note did not contain the details. But at the proposal stage now, they are now asking for details. So that means they will now have more idea about what you have submitted and what they thought it was at the level of concept note. So at proposal stage, you will look at if it scales through that one, they now call you for the third stage, which is to come and defend what you have submitted. In fact, I'm surprised when PC was saying that one. In the past, we believe that once you are invited for oral defense, you are as good as passed the thing, because I don't know, they still reject after that level. So, because once you go there, when we went to defend my own, they asked questions, we defended, and they said, there was even one of them that said, cultism in that area, very, very serious. No, I said it's serious. Then he started to name almost all the villages around us here. So you will know that that person knows this place very well. Then he now picked me up and said, but you don't extend your study to the villagers. They are the ones that are carrying the brunt of cultism now. I said, how much will TED-Fund give me to be able to go to the villages? The researches are in stages. Now when this one is done, when we are through, we can scale it up. Say, yes, Prof, that's good. I'll be the place. So let's go to that of TED-Fund now. So these are the specifics that TED-Fund asks for. You know, the one we have been talking about is about concept notes generally. But for TED-Fund is asking for this. We said, unlike international donors, TED-Fund has strict, non-negotiable rules for Nigerian researchers. Violating any of these rules means automatic disqualification. TED-Fund, in fact, some of them are automated, some of the things, because they are asking for it, they ask you to submit online. If you have violated the thing that have even rejected it at that level before it gets to the reviewer. So we said, do this first. If it is for TED-Fund, study the requirement, look at the details. Then align your study to the thematic areas. What I was saying the other time, there are 3 thematic areas: humanities and social sciences. By that they mean any study that has to do with humans, in the arts, in social sciences, management sciences, education, to them is humanities and social sciences. But if it is pure science, then we have science, engineering, and innovation. That's another group. So you look at the problem you are trying to address. Does it fit the first group or the second group? And the third group is what they call cross-cutting. They call it cross-cutting researches. That is a research that you cannot actually situate it in humanities or science because it goes through the two. But you must be sure of it, because that is one that attracts the largest amount of money. So they easily reject things that they feel they cannot fly. But if it flies, so then title. Another area that TED-Fund does not joke with is the length of the title. Less than or equals to how many words? 20. It can be less, but it should not be more than 20 words. Project duration, that's another thing, 24. For IDR, I submitted a proposal at a time, and incidentally, the study was to take 18 months. I've forgotten. They even passed it at this level because they didn't see it. But when they got to Abuja, they just removed it. You know, we said normally they don't, the assessment for IDR is done within the university. The committee will look at it. But the report must go to TASFUED. It was at TASFUED and I said, no, this study, this one is more than 12 months, this one will take 18 months. No, it's more than, it cannot go for IDR. Let it go and submit for NRF. So they just rejected it. It was when they brought it by all of us, they moved. We didn't look at it. So you can see as small as that, they rejected it on the basis of that. So for NRF, it's 24 months. That is not more than 24 months, it can be less, but it should not be more than 24 months. Then, the lead researcher, which they call the PI, TASFUED call it principal investigator, PI. It should not be lower than a senior lecturer. Senior lecturer and above. Unfortunately, in this university, that's another problem area. Because we have seen people who have beautiful ideas, and they said, because I'm not yet a senior lecturer, no, I can't give my idea to someone. It will be difficult for such person to grow. Prepare your concept note. Get somebody you can trust, that you a good mentor, and let the person lead the team. I've seen that when we went to the very one in Abuja, you will know that it is not this prof that wrote the thing, but he brought the person who wrote it along. That's why they say the principal investigator plus at least one of your co-researchers. So when it got to a point, the prof will not go on, that person just keep on talking about it. So the next question they throw like this, the prof wanted to answer, they said, prof, don't worry, let this person answer the question. So it was clear that it was the owner of the idea. But what the rule says, you must abide by it. And why are they using that rule? Because we have asked them to. Why? Somebody who is lecturer one can lead. They said, no, they have given their money to a lecturer one before. That person took just, it was 12 million and ran away. That when they started tracing, he was already in the Czech Republic. That if it's somebody who has grown on the job, if he cannot run away because of 12 million, he cannot even run away because of 100 million. You heard what Prof said the other time. There are people who have won, there's a professor in Nigeria who won 100 million pounds just last year. He can't run away. He has made his name already. He's known everywhere. That's why they don't just say somebody who is just starting, who is not yet know, who can drop the job and go to anywhere anytime. But there's a Japan. Normally, often assistant lecturer in 20 million go and say research. And the budget cap for NRF is 50 million. That is, you can't quote anything more. If you quote 50 million, they will just reject on the basis of that. So, and you don't target the highest. For instance, for those of us in social sciences, we know they will not give us 50 million. So we target something that is reasonable. You know, we learn from experience. The first one, when I was a co-researcher for Prof, when we did that of 2019, fortunately we met our former VC, Mama Obila, when we got there to defend. They have done their own like yesterday, so we met. She was happy that people are coming from TASFUED, and so she gave us one original before we entered. She said, you know one thing, the most important question is that they will have cut the amount you quoted in the thing, and they will ask you, can you still go on with this study? Don't say no. If you say no, that's the end of your study. so we have asked that. So when we now got there after defending everything, they now say, Prof, assuming TASFUED cannot give you up to what you have stated in this thing, will you still be able to have say, yeah, we'll do it? So don't submit if your institution has greater than or equals to 3 overdue studies. What they mean by overdue studies is that if NRF was won in 2022, for instance, you know, 2022, 2023, the person should have completed the latest 2024. If he has not submitted up till now, it has become overdue. So if an institution have something like that up to 3, they will not grant anything for anybody in that institution that year. But for us in TASFUED, we don't have such a case. So let's move to the next one. The scoring pattern which TASFUED uses is this one. TASFUED, you know, their own, they say the first category you have equipment that you want to use for the study. And they said it should not be less than or equals to 25% of the total amount you are asking for. The personnel, that is all staff, should not be more than 20%. PI's share. Now, you have quoted 20% of the total amount for personnel. That of PI should not be more than 40% of that amount. For instance, if I'm asking for 20 million, and I've quoted that for personnel we will use 4 million, which is 20% of that 20 million. Now, my own share of it should not be more than 40% of that, which is 500,000. Which means if you are now saying, principal investigator, 520,000, they will not take it. They will reject on the basis of that. Then dissemination. They expect that you budget for dissemination. When the study is completed, how do you disseminate information? But it should not be more than 3%. Travel. In fact, TASFUED does not always like traveling when it comes to the study, that you include traveling there. They know you will travel. If it is within Nigeria, you will accept it. But the moment you are saying you will go to Germany or go to Clinical to do lab tests or whatever, they look at the possibility of doing that thing within Nigeria. It's only in situations where they are convinced that such a lab does not exist in Nigeria that they will grant it. Otherwise, they will disqualify that proposal on the basis of that. Yes. And how do they award the scores? Aims and objectives, that's the introduction, the one we said, statement, problem, and so on. Is allotted 6 points. Then research. How do you get this, the 6 points? That means your title, your aims, and so on must be smart. That is, must spell it out. It's so short that it actually stated what you want to do. Then research methodology, 15 points. Team composition, 3 points. Prof has spoken about team composition the other time. I almost to thank you. So team composition, they want it to reflect diversity. Diversity in terms of discipline, diversity in terms of ranks. So, like in my own study, for instance, you see somebody from computer. What is he coming there to do in counseling? It will help us when it gets to the stage of dissemination, when it gets to the stage of putting our studies online. So you create responsibility for that person. So in terms of discipline, they want it to be something that are spread across some discipline, at least related areas. The same thing in terms of rank. So you have professors, you have senior lecturer, then you have others. They are particular about the others. At least 1 or 2 of them must be there. Because according to them, they said they will be assured that even when you retire, somebody is there to continue the effort. So we must take care of that too. I think all other things you have there is just about TASFUED. So in other words, I want to conclude by saying that it is possible for us to win more, but we must start with the mindset that we can do it, that in the process of making such efforts, the concept may be rejected. It is not the end of the road. That if it is rejected this time around, I can still get it at another time. Just like Prof has told us, we started with the idea for that of NRF. When he came up with his own idea, we worked together, we were doing it. We almost lost it, even when it has been approved, because we didn't get information. We got information to come for the defense of the proposal on the date we were supposed to defend. So, but luckily for us, at that time, we had somebody there, one of our former former chairman of council, Professor Badiro. We linked up with him. Baba, we are just getting this mail now. And he said, we're supposed to be your capital. He said, you have gotten to that stage, give me some minutes. And later on, he called us and said, are you sure you have corrected everything that you're supposed to correct? We said, yes. He said, send it to me. So we sent to him. And he said, you know, it's not his own team because our own was humanities and social science. So I think he met them. And those people said, okay, they will give us tomorrow. So we have to leave Jebo that day and got to Abuja the following day to defend it. And it was a success. So, in other words, we must be prepared for the challenges. Challenges can come along the line. And for the international one too, we should be trying it. We don't restrict ourselves to TASFUED. When you see call for concept notes or papers, please write. Then consult the Directorate of Research. They can help a lot. If they can get people who are experts in that area to look at the thing, to peer review it and help us to standardize it before we submit finally. So, okay, there's one area in TASFUED, and that's the last one. When the proposal is now called for, the university must endorse it. Because they will tell you that they are actually giving the grant to the university and not you. So I think it's because of the experience of those people that have run away before. So the VC has to sign that I know him. He cannot. So if he runs away according to TASFUED, their own money has not run to anywhere. The money is still within that university. The university will have to find a way out of it. So thank you very much for your...
Before question, my director wants to add one or two things.
Thank you very much, Sam, for the elaborate session that we just had. He mentioned something, and because my session, I may not say it, that's why I want to give the practical example. My NRF, when I was told to defend, I was not in the country. And you cannot say, this is another time. So that's why, this idea, the Vice Chancellor mentioned something about cognitive restructuring or whatever. We need to remove this idea that it's mine, territorial spirit and all those things. No, knowledge is for everybody. So you need to share it. Let Professor Eweni, all of us know her. She was on my team. And because we worked together on one or two things, I just said, Oga, you are the one going to present. I did the PowerPoint, I did everything, I bought ticket for her, I arranged where she would stay in Abuja. I got somebody to Pepper, who was a technical partner on the project. So they went together to define. And they said when I told them that I'm not around, they said that's why we say you should have a team. Is there nobody in your team? And I wrote the proposal. But because we're working in Oyo State, we have put a little caveat there, as Prof mentioned, that we will interpret the questionnaire in Yoruba language. And that's why I brought Professor Eweni there, because she's a professor of language. So she actually did that aspect, and she led a team, because I worked in 6 states. So she led the team in Edo. So what I'm saying in essence is so that these things are doable. If we want to do it, it is doable. Don't think that all your knowledge is only for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the information. Now, Prof, can we have the third session, then question and answer will come later? Yes. And that's why we are rushing.
Yes. So please, you can write your questions. We respect our Muslim brothers and sisters, so that's why we want to finish by 1 o'clock. We will be sending, please can I have my slides? We will be sending all the PowerPoints to us emails. The Vice Chancellor, we want us to use our TASFUED emails. So if your emails, your TASFUED emails have not been working, please, from the directorate, we will not send to Gmail, we will not send to Yahoo, we will not send to anywhere. Okay, thank you very much. So, the two sessions are like, they're supposed to whet our appetite, and this session is to expose us to where and who is funding what you think you want to write about. And as I mentioned, we're going to send the slides to everyone. So I'll rush through my slides because it's a little bit lengthy. Potential research grants for scholars. And I wrote there, navigating local, continental, and global funding pathways to research activity. As many of us as want to write and want to start assessing funds, you'll see that from the feedback that we got from TED-Fund, even if all our proposals are good, TED-Fund cannot fund everybody. So there are other areas, there are other things that you can look into. So where I want to mention that most of us as university scholars, I know there are a lot of non-academics inside and here. So I did it thinking that I'm just talking to only teaching staff. So please don't mind me. That the university stands on a tripartite mandate of teaching, research, and community development. Most of us as lecturers, all we do is our class, our class, our class. And I want you to know that when you do only that, it cannot fulfill all the potentials that you have. It cannot give you the visibility you want. And actually, it may not add naira to your pockets or dollars or whatever. So that is the basis, that is where to start, your classroom. And for the non-teaching staff, it can, as I've done researches that I have non-teaching staff within this university that have been on my team, from IPR and NRF, those criteria, you must have people from other disciplines. So for us as teaching staff, let's look for the non-teaching staff that are in our area that we can actually work together. I've worked with a few and we become family on most of my projects. So I want you to know that as long as all you are doing is check into what's class, into common, no. But that class is the basis for your research. My research started from my PhD work, which is learning outcomes for girls in science. What are the impediments? What are the things that affect girls in science? And in reading and reading and reading, I found out that girls and boys, they do well in science up to primary 4. Globally, all over. Even in in Asia and Middle East, girls outperform boys. But how come in secondary school, girls lag behind? And when they get to the university, even when somebody as a woman has trained as an engineer, you find out that she doesn't practice as an engineer. I have an engineering background. So from undergraduate days, those has been my concern. How come girls don't thrive well in science? Is there a problem? There is a myth that the brain of the boys are better than the girls. So we found out that it's a myth. It's not true. God did not make any different brain, you know. So I had to start looking at all those circumstances, and that's what led to some of my community development, talking to girls in primary school, secondary school, and all those. And now it has become my research focus. So do not think what you are saying in the classroom does not matter. What you are doing, what you are teaching, the biology, the chemistry, the maths, and all those forms the basis of what we want to do. The next slide. Why are we talking about this? Because the funding and the funders have changed to Africa. The global focus now is on Africa. The problem, as we all know, majorly rests with us. They have the money. Bill Gates has the money, MacArthur has the money, Ford Foundation has the money, TED-Fund has the money for Nigeria. All these people have the money, but they want to solve problems in Africa. And they've been solving the problems before, and they are finding out that we are wasting money without involving the people in the problem areas. So right now, major funders are actually looking to collaborate with scholars in Africa. because we want to do malaria. Because malaria in America, because malaria in UK. So if we really want to solve the problem, we must know who and who is living there. So there's a global shift, and they want to co-create with what we call the global north. The global north are those developed countries. They want to co-create with us in the global south. And between the global south, we have Asia and Africa. Most of their traditions is almost the same with us. The things they face is almost the same thing that we face. So that's why in every team, they are looking for somebody from Asia or somebody from Africa. And what the Vice Chancellor mentioned about you being visible, being on Google, being on LinkedIn, being on all those, when they are looking, they will just search and they look. There was once when I was in the lecturer 2, I think, or lecturer 1, but I was already working under our now Commissioner for Education. And then somebody from South Africa wanted to involve a professor in TASFUED, and they told me that what's happening to you? They Google her name, they couldn't find her name. As at that time, 2014, 2015, she was already a professor. And there was nothing I could do because it was in my area, early childhood education, they wanted somebody, and so, So what I'm saying in essence is that as we're coming up, and even those of us that think maybe have arrived and all those, when you are a professor, you have just started work when it comes to research. Because you're supposed to be mentoring, you're supposed to be out, you're supposed to be providing solutions. Because they believe that you have acquired a lot of expertise. So it's not to sit down and say, I'm collecting my money, I'm collecting my salary. It is good, but it's just a basis. The next slide. Olga, the next slide. So there are 5 pathways to research funding. My professor Malga has told us the one that we should start with. And I'm happy he has given us a lot of details, so I don't need to go with that. That is the local, which is TEFON and IBR. Then we have individual donors, we have global foundations, we have research councils, and we have fellowships. Fellowships are so diverse. And my international link started from the fellowship, which is the 5th one that I won when I came to this university in 2013. So, local sources for research, we have the IBR, we have the NRF. I'll just say something again on the IBR. Since I've been in the directorate, we've had 13, 15, 17, 32. This last one we submitted 22, and we believe they will be approved. I want you to know that with the IBR is the one that we control within the institution. It is called Institutional Based Research Fund. Prof has mentioned, that's the Vice Chancellor has mentioned, the limit then used to be 2 million, but from 2024 it has risen to 4 million for social sciences and humanities and 5 million for sciences. But if the research committee within the university do not append and say you have passed, there's no way we can present it there. Research committee here, when I came, Professor Lusoya was our leader. So we have a committee, and then Professor VC now became the leader. There was a time Professor Adetoro. So we've always had research committee. So don't let anybody say we didn't have. We have research committees. I've served there several years, and this will be scrutinized. So what we're saying is that when we said go and rewrite, or we have done all those, the ones that we say are scaled through, and we take to Abuja, most times they don't have problem with it. Two have been rejected. Why were they rejected? The scope was outside of the state. So when you are writing for IBR, it must be within the university. Are students benefiting? Are lecturers benefiting? Are people in Jebus or Egbas? Or it must be Ogun State or the universities in Ogun State. So don't say Lagos side, don't say Southwest, don't say Lagos State, don't say Oyo State. They will just reject it. So those two were rejected, and I'm happy to say that we represented it, and the professors have done the work, and I'm sure they'll get their balance sometimes very soon. So that's for IBR. For NRF, I would say if you have not done IBR, don't try NRF. Because, why will I say that? Or if you have not won any grants, don't go for NRF. Because we had an experience, and I'll share this. Myself and Professor Adetoro, we worked together in DAPCA for 6 years. There was this particular fundings that were supposed to assess then, and we didn't get it. So when we went to Lagos, Prof was with us 4 of us went to Lagos. Professor Okebukola was the one in charge of. So we met this Makato guy there, and I said, "Are this somebody I've been in his office in Abuja? He's still the person there." And I said, "Okay, what happened? We said this, we did this." He said, "Oh, I'm going to $800,000. No, my arena." You know, so when it comes to some levels, they will look at your profile. They said, "We don't know you." That particular fund, it wasn't that we didn't write the proposal well, but that funding went to a fire me. And I can say it, because she was working on gender, she was working in secondary school, but the person said, "I know her." And then at that point, she was the wife of the governor. So she couldn't run away with 800,000. They said, "How can they give me?" Because then maybe I was still like one or you know, that kind of a thing. But people gave me the link and said, "We are working on this, so we recommend send your proposal." So it wasn't that the proposal was not good, but it was just because they didn't know me. I wasn't visible. Individual donors, we have all these listed, but I'll mention the last two. T.Y. Danjuma Foundation. How did I know about him? Because I work on gender, and so I wrote there. But he said he could not fund me. He was working in his state. Anybody that is going to work on gender, it must be in his state, either Taraba or Delta. Taraba, I think he is from Taraba, and his wife is from Delta. And as Oga has mentioned to us, they are the owner of the money. So they will decide where they want to put their money, even if you have a good idea, you know. So Danjuma funds things. You can go on their line. DRPC is somebody that I've come in contact with. I know the executive director, so I know they fund researchers, they fund. So go on their websites. But at times, she's a little bit prone to the northern areas, you know. So if you want to do things from maybe Kogi, or maybe you are from the north, or you have she works more in that. But those are people that you can go to. We have MasterCard. I know someone in this university who has won $100,000 from MasterCard. So I won't mention name, but I'm just telling you there is money. I was in Covenant University in March, and I told them, look, there's money for every idea, even foolish ideas. It just depends on how you present it. What is foolish to you may not be foolish to somebody else, you know? And since they are the owner of the money, so you need to check, as long as it tallies with what you want to do, and just check your proposal and tilt it towards the African Fellows in Education program. I told you I started my international journey through a fellowship. So there's so many fellowships, especially young ladies, young female lecturers, non-academics. I want to encourage you. Spend your time online, not posting pictures as I tell young people, but searching. Searching and searching and searching. There are things there, you take time. Fellowships now are for people like us. We can't go on any fellowship now. Postdoc, look for a postdoc. You've just finished your PhD, look for a postdoc. You're a master's person, look for fellowships or things, small things that you can do. Grants start from even like $200, £200, 1,000. 500. Tony Elumelu is 5,000. I've not gone there, but I know, but I'm not too sure whether he's focused on education. But I know he's focused on entrepreneur, he's focused on startups, and so there's nothing that says somebody in ICT or somebody in home economics or somebody even in childhood education cannot apply and say, I want to develop a toy, I want to develop something. You know, it depends on how you coin your concept notes. I went for a workshop in Ghana, and there are a lot of people from Agric economics. I was the only person in early childhood. And I said, why did you pick me? They said, because of what I wrote. Because one of the things I normally write, when they say justify why we should spend money, I tell them, look, you need an African face. And I've looked at all of you, and I see that we are talking of diversity. So where is the diversity here? We are talking about equality. So where is, I kill my case. And I tell them, look, you want to do something here, and there's nobody in this region, in this place. So you are not started. It's like when I said, you can't say you want to do anything in Africa, and there's no Nigerian. In every black, 5 black guys, one is a Nigerian. So if you want to do anything in Africa, you must work with Nigerians. Those are arguments. and she will support those things, you know. And now for females, it's between 18 and 35. The highest is maybe 18 and 45. You know, all these things. They will age, and then they look at area. He has mentioned some other areas. Malala Foundation, why I put this is the present executive director happens to be in Nigeria. She was just elected in April, and she's in Abuja, and she's sitting over $50 million for girls' education, women, maternal health, neonates, babies, you know, different aspects. But their focus is anything that will promote girls or women education. So you need to go to their website, look at it, and see, okay, how and all those. The next one, Spencer. Oga mentioned Spencer. I will say something about Spencer. Myself and my team, we've tried Spencer 2 times. It's just $50,000. We've tried Spencer 2 times, but we've not been able to win. So I went for a workshop, and people were talking about Spencer. And I said, what is it? What's it? What? They said, for Spencer, you must have someone in the diaspora. You must have, because there are people from Kenya and all those that are my colleagues that have won. So I said, so they said that's the trick. So that's why you must go for conferences, you must go for workshops. Don't say, I go to one university. You will first use your salary to do self-development. I remember when I came, people were saying, one for no one in. They said it, and I had. I said, well, because you are. They will mention, she knows this person. She's not person. Whatever. And since the person, they mentioned that Mama Bilade was the one sponsoring me. She was the one, and I never knew Mama until Mama got here. He just started, I finished from Ife, she came from Ife. And she was the one she's the one that she was okay. And since Mama has gone now, I don't know whether Mama is still sending me. So I'm being vulnerable. I'm being plain and I'm being vulnerable because honestly, it pains us, myself and Professor Oladipo, my VC now, that when we say call for proposals, nobody writes. We can't write for people. So if we have 100 and we send 50, but if it is only 20 we have, we're already shortchanging ourselves. If it gets a lot, even for now, full-time. If you go online and see the kind of money they get from TASFUED, Redeemers get a lot of money in health sciences from abroad. And his lecturers, I follow all those people, even FUTA, they get a lot from their technology, from agri, from all those, so they are diverse. In Ife, there is a lab that was done for them, virtual lab done from computer science by World Bank. It was $8 million. I know the person there because there was a time Mama Abilade was there, we had to go to Ife for a conference, so we went to that virtual lab, and I just saw this. She said, I know the person is here. I didn't know him being there until we got there. I knew him in Ibadan. So it was one that told me. The first one was 8 million, the second one was 7 million. When they changed the vice chancellors, and they wanted to change the director there, World Bank told them, so they were all telling that person now has become the DVC, Professor Aderomu. But then he was just the brain behind, and maybe it was HOD of computer science and something. They said, he's the one we know. And from that virtual lab, they do a lot of things. They have interchange, or there's so many things they do there in that virtual lab. So there's money. That's what I just want to say. There's money to fund your ideas. You just need to know where the money is. Ford Foundation, go on. There's so many. DFID. My first funding was from DFID in 2007, before I became a lecturer. I was just a classroom teacher. And I got the information then. It was during the day of HIV and AIDS. I didn't even have an organization to do anything. So they said, go and look for an organization through which we can help you. So I had to collaborate with somebody who is a medical doctor, who will talk about the HIV, who will test it. But I used to go to school. I've been going to school since 1986. Going to school just to talk to youth. So that was one of the things I was doing then in Ibadan. And this person said, what you are doing is good. We want to do HIV awareness in 10 schools in Okeogun. we had to go to Okeogo, and I said, well, so in writing the proposal and all that, they said, you need an organization. I don't have organization. I was just a classroom teacher. I was just in primary school, you know. But the passion and the drive and all those, that's why I'm being vulnerable. So, you know, there are days you will, instead of buying Ankara, you will use it to buy data. But the data you buy, when you get the funding, we buy you lace, if you believe in this. So that was my first funding, and for 10 months, I shared it with the person who take the medical. I will talk about the schools. I had the doors of the Ministry of Education, all those. Quickly, they gave us, oh yeah, go to the schools and all those. So please collaborate. My time, oh yeah. JPAL, sorry, go back to JPAL. JPAL Economics Department, and I'm going to challenge my deputy here, because he knows I have been telling them about JPAL. JPAL actually does something with economics. I'm not an economist, but I've attended their workshops, both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, and I'll give you something about them. So please go to their website. They want people that have done masters in economics, macroeconomics, and things like that. They're doing what they call RCT, randomized control trial. I don't know all those things. But, you know, I just tell them, as a deputy researcher, officer, and as a researcher, I want to learn new metrics, I want to learn new tools, I want to learn new assessment, because they will tell you, justify why we should spend money on you. I said, I know I have a background in education, early childhood, and statistics. So I need to know. So, you know, when they see that tax, they say, okay, let's invest in people, in this person. So please go back to that JPAL. So from there, Prof mentioned something. We went for a workshop in 2023. I wanted to know, in that 2023, I reacted to their food and I ended up in hospital. But you see, I don't know about you, I'm a person of faith. And I believe that nothing happens accidentally. It's a 1 week meeting. But I was the only one, as I told you, that did early childhood. And they put people in groups. So before I came, a group led by somebody in Ghana wanted to do something on maternal health. And they needed somebody in early childhood education. So they waited for me until I was admitted. So you know, some of us, I was admitted, I was on bed for we said the first proposal, sir. And they told us we didn't win. That first proposal was for $50,000, and I was just to be a technical partner. So they said after so many meetings, and we meet weekly, you know, that's why I said, when you get home, your work has just started with a researcher. And they said we didn't win, but there was a caveat, sir. They said, we are interested in this work. Can you please send to this donor? And for me, I wanted to just send it like that to the donor. But one of my technical partners, one of your guys there, who is Oyibo, said, no, we have to repackage it. It took us from March to October to rewrite that proposal. I know, because I have a mentee, I don't think she's here. The first time in 2014, I wrote a paper I sent to somebody, and the person crossed everything, red. She looked at it, said, are you still going to talk to the person? I said, yes, now. Or you won't go 2 hours, so I'm going to redo everything she said. Because she was just saying, no. You know, because at times when you are doing your PhD, you are doing something, they read your paper and say, they like me. No, there's nothing like that. It's somebody that likes you, that corrects you. So, you said there was a year I sent 11 abstract or papers outside, proposals outside. I only won 2, and the 2 came November, December. And I accept 11. So when they reject, ask, can I know why you are rejecting? Some will tell you, some will not tell you. Majority will not tell you. But be open. And Prof is here, we read our paper together. Even when I was still younger than them, they don't say I'm young. They send to me, I send to them. I send to people outside, people in Ibadan, people in Ife, people anywhere, anybody that I know that can read. I have people in Malawi, in Rwanda. So when you go to conference, don't just be showing your face. Don't sit with your friends when you go for conference. Go and sit with somebody else from another school. Sit with, don't be doing, I don't that. The conference is to learn to network and to know who is working. You know, I see that a lot, especially for Africans. And you know, we just, and then we come late, you know, or you won't believe, if there is meeting for 9, you come 30 minutes before 9, you network. During break time, you network. That's the essence. It's not to eat everything. You may even not eat. You must talk. When you go for a conference, make sure you meet one person. One person that will have value to you. The person may be, I have a mentor who is like 25 years younger than me. She reads all my proposals because I've seen her. This is somebody that has won $1 million. She's here in Nigeria. She's in Abuja. She was here 2019 when we had the first church conference. Remember that Mama Bilade sat here. We organized it with your Professor Humi was the director there. She was a small girl that came to talk on that day. I was told to invite her. I invited her, she's a lawyer. And since that day, up to this morning, we have talked. I give her all my proposals to reach. If somebody in Nigeria, we win $1 million. So JPA, please, for mainly educators on macroeconomics, they have things they want to teach. It's not, they don't collect money. It's just that you must meet their requirements, which is writing. Why must we spend money on you? What's your vision? What's your, you know, all those kind of a thing. So as I said, you keep writing and writing until you get it. The next one, because you see my face there. This was my first fellowship when I came here. And see, when people send you mails, please read it. The friend that sent me this mail from Ibadan says she got the mail and she says it's not, it doesn't apply to her. She sent it to almost 300 people on her network. I tried it and it changed my career. I was here. I just came 2011 May. I won that fellowship for my PhD thesis. What's my PhD thesis? Talking about girls and science. And what did I write? I said, how do we use stories and games to teach girls? And the reviewer said they've never thought of using stories and games to teach science. When we talk of stories, we talk about stories in language, in English, comprehension. So when you say stories and games, we want to hear, how do you do that? They came from the US to Nigeria to interview me. Out of 300 people, only 3 of us were picked. And that picture there is a picture of the day when we were doing our presentation. And at the end of the day, they said, we have small money for you people to do projects. I'm from Nigeria. The other person on the left there is the owner of the DRPC that I said you should go and check. I met her there, and we've kept the connections since that day. She used to be a lecturer at Ahmadu Bello University before she now had a think tank. So she still has lecturers in her network, and most of her research is still within the education space and the university. And the other person in the middle is my friend from Malawi. I met all of them there, and so when I have anything, I send to them. Please help me read, because they were already ahead of me. I have not done most research. They are people that win 1 million, 1.5 billion from Bill and Melinda Gates. And you know, I just sat down. These are Africans like me. They're about the same age. So what is it? And the person in white beside me has only masters, but her masters is in theater arts. Her masters is in theater arts. So she will use theater and drama to teach whatever she wants to teach in the community. She calls it behavioral change or whatever. So that's what got her there. She has only masters in theater, in drama. So there's no field that you cannot prosper with. At the end of the day, they gave us money to come and do projects, and I did with TASFUED and others here, training teachers and training girls. Feet. This is a new funder that I got in contact with in 2023, 2024. I told you I sent a proposal somewhere and they said, no, you didn't win, but send to these people. These are the people I sent it to. They gave me the name of the people. They are in France and it's sponsored by government of France. So I will send all these slides so that you can go to their website. They have what they call fellowship, they have seed grant, they have this, they have different ones. So you look at the ones that applies to you. But as I said, if they reject you in one, don't say no, go to another, or keep trying and keep trying. The next, Codestra focuses on social sciences, social studies, humanities, and have people in Ibadan that have won this for their masters, for their PhD. They do exchange for writing. There's so many things. They focus on university lecturers. So they sponsor PhD. I have one of my mentees whose masters and PhD was sponsored by these people. And so every phase, when she finishes, she go there, she'll go and deliver her work. All those that sponsor her. So she doesn't have 2 heads. She's there in Ibadan. So people can just go, especially if you're doing your PhD and your masters. ESSA, this specifically for those in early childhood, and they have things like 10,000, 15,000. There are 2 people that I know that have won this. I was in a group, we didn't win. So you see, it's not all winning. But I have 2 people, one in the College of Education and one in the university. They are early childhood researchers, and they won. And they put their, they put their face. That's how I knew. And I said, these are people I know now. So these things are there. So please, let's Police Center. One of us here won this grant. She won a small grant. She's doing a bigger grant. She's in the sciences. So they are there. Amman Fresh is another one. This, another person in science who won. I don't want to mention names, but there are people here. That's why I told them yesterday, please, I'm doing my PowerPoint. Kindly give me the name of the donor agencies. And they are winning, or they won as researchers here within TASFUED. So it doesn't look at, don't mind the killing. Only God. When we started doing the IPR and the people told us, it's because they know somebody in Abuja, so they are just doing partial. But when the 17 people won, when 32 people won, so we now say, okay, so everybody, they know somebody there. And I'm happy Professor Akorede is here. Happy? Professor, these are my NRF recipient. Professor Akorede, she just left. So maybe they too, they know people there. So please, let's take off those things from our brain and let's just make up our mind that if this thing is accessible, I will try. Try thinking of your concept, try thinking of your team members and all those. All other opportunities that we think. And for those of us in Organization for Women in Science and Development, there's more to our meetings. There is money for women in science. But it's specific for ages 18 to 45. So as an organization, those are things that we should look at and expose people to. If we are members, see what are the opportunities, what are the fellowships, what are the conferences that, even there are money for conference, say you know. So if TASFUED says there is no money, look, there are people that fund travel grants. There are people that even fund, okay, you want to go and learn something in another country. So just give yourself one day, one evening, you're going to sit down with your laptop, you're going to check all these things if you want to grow as a scholar. I'll round up by saying, do you have an idea? Then there's every possibility that it can be funded. Visibility and persistence turn ideas into grants. 1, attend conferences. Show up. Tell them, I want to go to a fund. Please sponsor yourself. Please sponsor yourself. Go to Ghana. Don't fly. Take transports. And you are just finding because you may not have the money for the ticket for now. But you don't know. See, there was one thing they told me to do. Somebody in Sri Lanka got an IDRC grant and checked me and said, I see that you are doing things on gender, STEM, and this. I'm developing an online program. She was the owner. She just said, develop this one. I was born among 13. I sat down in my house to do the work for 1 year, and each time I submit, they send my money to my account. Each time I submit, they say, that times they reject, they critique, they do this, but that has even brought, because through that, some other people have seen it, because an online course, and this person is a professor of economics, but they wanted something on science and women, and said, I've seen that that's your area, can you do this curriculum for us? So please, everything you do, make sure you're on ResearchGate, you're on academia, you're on Google Scholar, anything that can put your face there, put it there. Invest in your growth. Keep upskilling and sharpening your crafts. Join network, be visible, build a LinkedIn presence. Start where you are. Don't say, hey, what do you mean? That little one, if you are not techie savvy like me, I'll say I'm not techie savvy. I have young ones that I'll just say, okay, let me do this. I know the area where I'm strong, and there's some areas I'm not strong. So please, have people to teach you. And if you are very good, some people, they are very good in learning things. Learn. Pitch your idea, turn your concept law into a funded project, and do not give up. Thank you for listening, and God bless you. Please make sure you register. And as we said, this is series 1. We will be going into details as university permits. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, my director. Questions and answers. But before then, some of us are yet to register. We are going to give certificates, but we cannot give certificates if we cannot locate you. And that's why it is necessary for you to register. Questions and answers. Have you questions for the two facilitators? If you have questions, observation, comment. Questions, observations, comments. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. Mine is not a question, and it's not a comment, but a request. Prof, I want to appreciate the presenters, including the VC that have left. I actually benefited from the presentations. But the last presenter mentioned something now, that's the Prof. She said, the soft copy of this slide to be sent to people with TASFUED email. I'm not a staff. I'm a PG student. I got the information from my PG group, and I choose to be here. And I've been here since the beginning. So I want to request that some of us are not staff that are participants. We should please be added to the list. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Students here, they're not a classroom staff. Kindly see him, take a sheet of paper, write all your emails there, so we will know. Thank you very much.
I want to appreciate the presenters. My question is very simple. The last time we had a call for conference at Ghana, and some of us applied, and we realized that to sponsor ourselves to Ghana was closer, and we were able to do it. We wanted to also wanted to apply to TEFON for sponsorship. But at the end, we were told that our university is not listed on the list of those who are sponsored. My question, because we have talked much about TEFON, what does the university do for our university to be listed among to be sponsored for conferences?
Okay, Prof, thank you very much. Our university is listed for conferences. Perhaps we didn't get it right. When TEFON prepares its annual budget and allocations, they make specific allocations for each of the institutions that they sponsor. Maybe at the time we were submitting for Ghana conference, we have exhausted the amount meant for conferences. Because when they allocate money for you, they allocate specifics. This one for conference, if it is 20 million, the moment that 20 million is exhausted for that year, no more until the following year. But that does not stop other aspects. You will understand when VC was saying, we have money for book publications, we have money for IBR, we have money for that are not yet assessed. Those ones are there. But for conferences, you don't know how many people go on conferences in this university annually. We receive a lot of funds. For that of Ghana conference we are talking about, I signed over 50 forms. So some were approved. Those that were approved, the moment our money is exhausted, they stop the other ones. That's what has happened. But that does not mean that we should not apply for conferences from next year. And just in addition to that, we have said that while we expect funders to spend their money on us, we must also be prepared to spend our money on ourselves too. Like I used to tell people, ever since we were introduced to these international conferences, for me, I do budget that at least I must go for one international conference at least once a year, with or without TEFON sponsorship. So it's something individuals should be able to do. But for TEFON, for this year, we have exhausted the money meant for conferences. But for next year, we can begin to apply again from next year.
Thank you.
Sorry, to add to what my director, please, I'm aware that TEFON, they look at conferences. So not all conferences are accepted by TEFON. It must be any conference they are hosting in hotel, they will not sponsor it. Any conference that is not associated with a university or an association that is recognized, they will not sponsor it. There was a conference that we used to take people to. The last time we went, some people came. I won't mention names, but the people we know. And since then, they've told us if you want to take people to that conference, it's on your own. So we don't thanks. But we've taken people from this university in the times of Professor Adetoro. I've been part of it. We've done everything, and people have traveled. But the last one we went, they came there. And unfortunately, at times, when you do such conferences, people will just register, they walk away, they are not allowed, they have gone to the shop, and all those. So things, if they say no, there is a reason why they're saying no. So they even scrutinize any form that we send. So it must be university-based, or association-based, and the association and the university must not use an hotel. Something within the university. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other one? Okay.
Thank you. First, I want to appreciate all the presenters. I observed that almost all the presenters mentioned one thing, that in most cases, the donors don't normally say why the concept note is rejected. Now, in such a case, how do I know what exactly to correct in that concept note in order to meet up with their own expectation?
The first thing I would say is that go to their website. If they have successful grantees or projects look at it. The Vice Chancellor mentioned it. When it became a directorate, we actually had to sit down and look at the number of successful applications from university by university. And that was when we found out that the title from the topic, they would throw your work outside. So you see that the three of us, it has to do with develop and validate, because they are looking for ingrown solutions. So I would say just go to the website of that person if they are not magnanimous enough to answer you. And it's not that they don't want to answer, but when you receive 2,000 applications, how will they be answering it? And some of this, is in stages. My prof would let you know. So it may even be somebody else that has deleted your work. And from the first stage, they've looked at it. Do you meet, maybe they say, write 500 words. And you wrote 503. From the beginning, that proposal will not fail. Because you did not obey instructions. So back then, look at their success story. Look at the frequent, they will answer a session frequently asked questions. Look at it and look at the answers. And if you want to be paid forward, you can send a mail. Look at their website. Look at the grant manager or the person in charge of the secretariat or something. And just like, I'm a young scholar or somebody and this and that, give me a favor and the person can answer you.
I think that is it, but in addition, then you look at their requirements. Look at the requirements dictated in the call. You can go back to your concept, place it side by side with the requirements. On your own, you will be able to discover where the error is. I think the VC told us something about that. The concept notes the proposal, it got to proposal, it was rejected. That was 2024. So we, on our own, we sat down and look at it, and we later realized with this budget. So we adjusted the budget, sent it again this year and 2025 and it was considered at that level. So sometimes they may not state what is the reason for which they are rejecting the proposal. But on our own, we can study it, we can look at the requirements, then we can repackage the thing for another sponsor. It is not compulsory only one of the funders must fund it. If we feel that this one has rejected it, we package it, submit to another place. And we can also give it to experienced persons. Those who have won it before, give it to them. Please help me look at this thing, what is wrong with it? Those errors we cannot discover on our own, others will discover them for us. You know, when you write a paper and you begin to cross-check it yourself, the possibility is that you will not see the errors because you will be reading the correct thing. So when you give it to your friend who is sitting beside you and say, please look at this one, within 2 minutes, we'll be pointing out the errors to you, look at this, look at this. So please, let us take the pain to go through the process.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. An information here. Your concept notes. If you want the directorate to review your concept notes, you can contact our office. Our office is Slate Building, the first floor, Slate Building. So you always see our staff there. So make copy and drop it there. And when you are dropping, make sure your phone number is attached so that we can get in touch with you. The HODs, there is ethics committee in the university. Let your students bring their proposal to research, Directorate of Research. There is ethics committee in that directorate. There is, we want to take, we are going to have photograph, but we are going to have it college by college, outside, college by college with the facilitators. On behalf of the directorate, I want to appreciate our facilitators for accepting to be our facilitator. Thank you, God bless you. We want to appreciate everyone for your attendance, but subsequently, please, and please, register. We are having issue with, we realize that those who did not register are even more than those who register. And there is a problem now. No problem. Okay. My director said there is no problem.
Please, there is no problem. Please, there is no problem. We are all one. We are a family. So preference is given to those who re-registered and we have their lists. So we have done that list college by college. So please, that's how they'll give you the food. So if you know it is only today that you just came, though, you know, at first we had 200 people registered at first when we wanted to do this program. But because of the involvement of the Vice Chancellor and my director, who have been very busy, we have postponed it, and postponed. So we had to tell people to re-register. The university had to approve our budget. So we only have food for those on that list. Our